You ever wake up to the sound of your own land turning against you? I'm talking about the kind of buzz that makes the hairs stand up on the back of your neck, not a feeling, an actual, literal electric pulse screaming through your fence line at sunrise. Yeah, that's how this all started. One minute I'm in the kitchen making black coffee thick enough to tile a bathroom. The next I'm staring at my phone, jaw-dropping perimeter breach, south access, voltage spike, the works. I tapped the security cam and, well, let's just say my day took a turn. 6 guys in matching HOA polos. Wheatstone Bluff, stitched bright and cheery across the chest, are out there on my lower pasture laying black cable like they're wiring up a prison yard. Behind them, a backhoe's tearing holes along the fence I built myself in 2014. My fence, my soil, and these folks are acting like I'm the stranger here. I don't bother with calls, emails, or neighborly warnings, just grab my keys and head out. The south road dips through 2 old hills and spills into my grazing meadow, and the whole way down, I'm telling myself to stay calm. By the time I roll up, they've already sunk 5 new poles, concrete barely dry, and slapped a shiny sign up top. Private common property trespassers prosecuted. Underneath in smaller letters, authorized access only, board resolution 3704. I step out, boots grinding over fresh gravel that sure as hell wasn't there yesterday. The lead guy doesn't even flinch, tells me it's a controlled site, says I can't be here. I laugh and tell him he's standing on the south quarter of Hunt Ranch parcel 8172, county record since 1973. Before I can say much else, out comes a second guy from a prefab trailer, clutching my padlock like a trophy. And then I see at my gate, the one I welded by hand last spring, gone, hinges torched clean off, replaced by a slick black gate with a keypad lock and a motion sensor. And then I hear her voice, smooth, polite, the kind you only hear in courtrooms or HOA meetings. Karen Strong, president of Wheatstone Bluff herself, looking like she's never touched a shovel, pastel, turtleneck, clipboard, iPad, hair done up like a TV anchor. I'm glad you're here, Mr. Hunt. We've been trying to reach you, she says, like this is some casual misunderstanding and not an invasion. She tells me the boundary adjustment was approved 2 months ago, says my parcel is now community-managed buffer zone. I stare at her like she's just announced she's putting a Chick-fil-A in my living room. You got 30 seconds to pack up and get off my land, I say, dead calm. Karen just smiles and suggests I take it up with the board. Some misclassification from 97, land marked as inactive, flagged for transfer. I tell her that's bull, I pay my taxes, I've got every map, deed, and water right under the sun. She taps her iPad, shrugs, tells me I'm free to appeal, but until then I need to leave. That's when her muscle gets antsy, fingers twitching at his radio. So I step back and call the only authority that matters out here. Sheriff Darrell Kittredge. A guy I've known since my Army days, now grayer and about as tired as I look. He listens to both sides. Karen handing over glossy maps and board resolutions, me with my deed. Survey tax receipts. Kittredge shakes his head, says it's above his pay grade. Without proof of criminal trespass, his hands are tied. Civil matter file with the county. Yeah, thanks. I drive home under the high sun, the new fence humming, feeling like I'm the trespasser in my own life. War, I realize, has officially begun. Next morning, there's a knock at my door, odd, considering the only folks who ever drop by this early are looking for trouble. I peek at my monitor. 2 women in power suits walking my property like they're realtors, one snapping photos of my wellhead. I step out, shotgun slung, not aimed, just there. We lock eyes, nobody says a word, and then they scuttle back to their SUV and drive off, like I'm the ghost on my own ranch. I spend hours that day digging up every shred of proof I've got. Tax doc zoning maps, old ledgers from my great-uncle, even the water certificates. At the county office, Nancy, the clerk, prints my parcel record and frowns. Something's off. There's a new line in the notes. Subject to boundary transfer under Provision 8, Resolution 1997, FISA inactive agricultural designation. Problem is that code was repealed in '03. She traces the digital update to Roger Ellison, a county liaison, same guy who pitched the Wheatstone expansion at a town meeting months back. Nancy Prince, everything says, "Be careful, Braden. Something stinks." I file a formal complaint, fraudulent land designation, but Deputy Howard tells me unless the county prosecutor sees intent, it's a civil slog. I hand over the access logs anyway. Roger wasn't supposed to touch those records. Tell him I said hi. Later, a clipped voicemail, Karen again. Wheatstone Bluff HOA has filed a petition for territorial recognition. Non-compliance may result in penalties. So yeah, they're making their move. That night, I scan every document, back up everything, rig the pasture with floodlights and motion speakers barking like angry dogs. I'm not paranoid. I'm prepared. But come day 3, silence hits different my irrigation server rack. The work's all dead. Calves in the far stall suffocated from heat, no water, no fans, nothing. I don't scream. I just get mad. Someone hacked my farm net, the last login traced right back to the HOA's community center. I call Kittredge, tell him it's not just trespass, it's sabotage. 2 dead calves, server breach logs to prove it. While I'm rebooting the whole damn ranch with backup power, I find thermal footage of 2 HOA compliance goons snooping my systems at 2:30 a.m. Didn't steal, just verified the damage. When the sheriff's tech finally rolls up, he looks at my logs and Blanche's access came from inside the HOA. That night I go full lockdown, firewalls, offline failovers, encrypted cameras. I'm ready for war. And sure enough, at 2 a.m., the new sensor picks up 3 figures by my solar inverter. 2 in HOA patrol vests. 1 with a laptop jacked into my transformer. Sabotage. I barrel down on my truck rifle, visible but not loaded. I catch them red-handed. They bolt. 1 drops a clipboard stuffed with screenshots of my own system, water flow, livestock logs, all of it. I hand it to Kittredge. He calls in Detective Ryman XDA Sharp as they come. Ryman sees the MAC addresses match HOA devices from a previous case. Lazy central server, never deleted. That's a gold mine. By that afternoon, Ryman's got a district judge to sign. An emergency injunction. HOA is to cease and desist all activity on my land, effective immediately. I drive with him to the HOA office, which looks more country club than criminal HQ. Karen tries to play coy, but when Ryman demands the incident laptop, she cracks. The device is bagged, chain of custody, real deal. Turns out the laptop's loaded folders marked land reallocation phase 2 maps with my ranch labeled converted common area internal emails plotting how to escalate claims of forged deed signed by a man who died years before the date. Erica Doyle. My lawyer takes one look and goes full scorched earth files on fraud, sabotage, trespass, admin manipulation. The judge denies the HOA's delay. News crews camp on Karen's lawn. Her mug on the front page. HOA president accused of land fraud against veteran farmer. That's when the calls start. Neighbors, out-of-state ranchers, even a podcaster from Montana. Seems like everyone's got a Karen. The backlash is wild. Karen's goons try intimidation, audit threats, bogus letters from made-up agencies, forged signatures. But Erica's unflappable tracks down the source exposes the fraud. Now I'm camped in my barn office, cameras rolling, shotgun handy. 2:30 a.m. Another car creeps up, 2 HOA jackets, 1 flips off the lens. Gotcha. Ryman says its felony trespass charges are pressed. Security contractors arrested, footage runs on local news. And just when I think Karen's beat, she calls an emergency HOA vote to annex my land retroactive to last year. I walk into their meeting, not on the list, don't care. Deputy tells her I stay. I hand every board member the injunction and proof of fraud, then leave. The walls are closing in. Karen tries one last trick, files a motion to dismiss digging up a 1930s land plat, claims I'm a de facto member under some ancient district. Erica gets the county's top zoning archivist to testify that the map was digitally tampered with, clear as day. The judge orders another fraud investigation. And just when I think it's over, here comes a bulldozer, black pickups tearing through my rye field utility access project. Yeah, right. Turns out the work orders from a fake HOA subcommittee signed by Karen herself. Deputy sees the trucks, and the dozer media headlines, Rogue HOA President Orders Demolition on Private Ranch. I give an interview sitting on a hay bale and say, give people a little power and no oversight. Don't be surprised when they start thinking your land's their backyard. The feds get involved. Charges stack up: fraud, trespass, conspiracy, even sabotage of ag infrastructure across state lines. Karen's arrested in a fancy vacation cabin, still talking about land reforms as they cuff her. By now, the board's falling apart, resignation subpoenas. One guy tries to run for city council and gets laughed out the door. In court, the judge looks Karen dead in the eye and says, "You use public trust as a weapon. 12 years, no parole, $500,000 in fines, lifetime ban from HOAs." As they haul her away, she's still searching the room like she can't figure out what went wrong. I know exactly what did. Afterward, I rebuild my fences with steel core, put up a granite monument by the main gate. Chunk of melted fence plaque reads, "Here they tried to steal my land with lies and voltage. But my roots go deeper than their wires. Tourists show up. Other landowners swap stories, some even tear up." Then the National Federation of Independent Farmers calls. They want to make my story a case study, push for laws to limit HOA power. They cover my legal fees, fly me to D.C. I testify in front of Congress, lay out every map, photo, and log I've got. I end my speech the same way I told that journalist I never sold my land. I sold them the illusion they could control it. Now life goes on. Herd's healthy, barn roof fixed. I sleep easy. That sign and that monument stay not as revenge, just a reminder. You don't need an army to win a war. You just need to know where your boundaries are and refuse to let anyone redraw them. So tell me, what would you have done in my boots? Where do you draw the line between standing your ground and letting someone else define it? Drop your thoughts below, share your own stories, and if you've ever fought your own battle for what's right, hit that like, subscribe, and join the conversation. This story's for everyone who's ever had to remind the world, this is my land.